pedal south from Minersville to Arlington National Cemetery, and that's Tom Bostick's final resting place. When I think of Tom Bostick, I think of trustworthiness. Trustworthiness being both in your character and your competence, and in your ability to set the example that you want other people to follow. So Tom, also one of my troop commanders. Four of the 6 paratroopers were leaders, captains at the time, and non-commissioned officers, and it was part of our expectations as a unit that leaders set the example, and leaders are at the forefront of the fight. And Tom was the same way. That's how he led. That's how he expected his soldiers to lead. He had been on multiple deployments. Tom was the best combat leader I'd ever met. Just watching him orchestrate artillery, airstrikes, the movement of his platoons in these firefights, it was just, he was just gifted. Yeah, it was like poetry. He was just so good. As a captain, as a company commander, he was the best soldier in the unit. He was tactically skilled. He had an extraordinary character, set the example. And he was able to communicate with people in ways that just made things stick. And so you remembered your conversations with Tom Bostick, because he was he could be very colorful. I just had a tremendous amount of faith, of course, in Tom, and so did his soldiers. He was loved and respected by everybody, and he was in the toughest part of our area, because I knew that, they were the ones that were going to be able to handle that. And we'd been in multiple firefights up to that point, and Tom every time was just absolutely masterful. On July 27th of 2007, we were in this big firefight, biggest one we'd ever had. I'm on a mountain about 5 miles away, so I can hear Tom just orchestrating this fight, where there's probably, 200 plus insurgents, maybe more, up in the mountains, and Tom's unit is in the valley, the valley floor. This firefight goes on for about 4 or 5 hours, and Tom, again, is just masterful, leading this fight. Then the whole valley just got quiet around, it's like 12 or 1 o'clock. And I remember talking to Tom on the radio, Bulldog 6 is Saber 6. So Bulldog 6 is his call sign, Saber 6 is mine. Bulldog 6 is Saber 6, what's the situation? And Tom, of course, gave me a great update, let me know what was going on. He had, some soldiers wounded, we'd gotten them medevaced out, and he was getting ready to continue the mission. And he starts coordinating, giving direction, orders to his units to do that. And after about an hour or so of silence, I hear this gigantic, boom that echoes down the mountain valley. And his firefight renews to even bigger intensity, greater intensity than before. And I hear a radio transmission that says the CP's been hit. And CP meant command post, which meant Tom was under direct fire. So I waited for a bit, I don't want to bother him while he's fighting for his life, of course. And I wait for a bit, and then I pick up the radio, Bulldog 6 is Saber 6. No answer. Bulldog 6 is Saber 6. Silence. Bulldog 6 is Saber 6. What I heard next, on the one hand, made me really, really proud, where his sergeants and his lieutenants are calling in air and artillery strikes and taking the fight to the enemy just like Tom taught him how to do. On another level, I knew. You can never fully prepare for a situation like that, where you feel that your only choices are, I ask somebody to sacrifice themselves so that the rest of us can have a chance to get to a different position, to reposition and take the fight to the enemy, or I do it myself. And you can never fully prepare for that kind of choice, knowing that either you are going to put yourself in a situation you might not walk away from, or you're going to ask somebody else to put themselves in a situation where they may not walk away from. There's no way to prepare fully for that in that exact circumstance, but everything Tom did in his life prepared him for that day. And when he saw that situation in which the only way that everybody else is going to survive is if he put himself at risk. And so Tom ordered the rest of the people in his command post to reposition to a place where they can keep taking the fight to the enemy. And then Tom single-handedly counterattacked that enemy force, drew their full attention towards him, and the rest of his team was able to get to that position and then keep calling air and artillery strikes in on the enemy and taking a fight to them that day. And the rocket, or the boom that I heard was a rocket-propelled grenade that killed him. Tom, for his valor, was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, which is our nation's second highest medal for valor. There are many ways to support us and to follow our progress. The easiest way is to go to our website, honorride.us, and you'll be able to see all the different ways you can support this endeavor and to follow our progress as we make our way from Spalding, Nebraska, all the way to Arlington National Cemetery.